Yo, what's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Gridiron Drive YouTube channel. I am Anthony Correnti, joined as always by my co-host Peter Traina, and we are betting some awards for the NFL. Who's going to be the MVP? Who's going to be the Offensive Rookie of the Year? All the big-time awards, we've got you covered. Drop a comment down below. Let us know who you think is going to win some of these awards by the end of the season. Let us know if you think you agree with us. If you've got a different take, if there's somebody else that you'd be betting on other than the players we mentioned, we'd love to hear all the feedback. Make sure you like the video, and if you haven't already, subscribe and share it with a friend. We would greatly appreciate it. Pete, how we doing? We're getting into all the notable awards that we're betting on today.
Oh, we're getting into them all, man. And before diving in, I just want to clarify that we'll be discussing these odds and we'll be offering some insights. I'm not necessarily saying that I'll be placing bets on these picks. We're just going to kind of provide some actionable information, especially regarding some of these long shot bets, because sometimes the value in backing, having a long shot in your portfolio could be better than simply just betting on the favorite, So I also want to stress that it's important when you're betting on these markets to really shop around across multiple sports books, because these numbers that we're pulling here, they're all from FanDuel. I think that for most of these, they have the best prices in like the big U.S. markets, but there are some anomalies where you can find some, some price discrepancies. So you should be shopping around.
Good to know. It's like making sure you get gas at the cheap gas station.
You got to have that gas app.
All right, let's get right into it with the big shabam MVP. We got Patrick Mahomes at plus 500 odds. Josh Allen at plus 800, CJ Stroud at plus 1,000, Lamar Jackson plus 1,500, and Jared Goff plus 2,500 for the long shot on here. What are we thinking about these guys?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's hard not to look at that and be like, why not bet Patrick Mahomes, right? I mean, he's the best player always, and the only thing that's holding him back from winning that award is like maybe these voters are kind of stale on him, because that's the thing about these awards. Like, these are actual humans who bet on this, and like there's narratives and there's like, you might be the best player, but if you're not in the like playoff contention,
right,
you might not win this award. So
yeah,
there's nothing wrong, if you like Patrick Mahomes, betting him at plus 500, but I'm looking at Jared Goff at plus 2,500. I think his schedule, I think they only play one outdoor game in like inclement weather. This possibly inclement weather. I think it's like they played late in Chicago. He was in the MVP talks last year, so if he can keep those stats going, he's got Ben Johnson another year together. The cohesion, I think plus 2,500 is pretty tasty odds for me. What do you think?
The one that jumped out to me on here is like, I can't believe that it's longer odds for Lamar Jackson than CJ Stroud. That's crazy to me. Like,
Returning
how many MVPs does Lamar have to win before he gets
I think people want to people are a little bit down on the Ravens because they've lost a couple offensive linemen, but they're the Ravens.
I don't know. Stroud at plus 1,000 felt a little surprising to me.
No,
like,
no way I'm
that
betting
close
that.
Yeah, a little close to Allen, and even that close to Mahomes. And I don't know. Lamar is the one that stuck out to me. I love the Jared Goff call out. This is a pro Jared Goff YouTube channel, pro Jared Goff podcast. We're a couple of golf guys. All right, we're just out here playing golf. That's what we do. And we've talked about it. We talked about it in the mock draft episode. We did a little bit. He's just almost a lock to throw for 4,000 plus and 30 to 40 touchdowns, and that offense is wheels up right now. So,
and again, this is a narrative award. So if the bruised and battered Lions who never win anything are back in Super Bowl contention, and Jared Goff has almost 5,000 yards and he's throwing for 40 plus touchdowns, a lot of people are going to want to vote for Jared Goff MVP. Unless Mahomes is doing crazy, pushing 5,000 plus, 55 touchdowns, breaking, records. Like honestly, I wouldn't bet Mahomes plus 500, but I'm not going to blame you if you do.
Yeah.
But
Throws multiple left-handed touchdowns. Yeah. I'm
behind the back. I
back.
remember when I
Yeah.
taught him that behind the back touchdown throw.
He really did a good thing. All right, let's move on to offensive rookie of the year. Caleb Williams plus 120, Jaden Daniels plus 600, Marvin Harrison Jr. plus 600, Malik Neighbors plus 1500, and Drake May, the long shot at plus 3,000.
Yeah, man.
Juicy.
Yeah, I might invest a little bit in Drake May here. I got to be honest with you.
Just a little sprinkle.
Just a little sprinkle, if you're betting in units, I would maybe a third of a unit on that because, I mean, God, if he plays and if he does anything to elevate that offense, because everybody's so down on that team that if he just has a respectable year, he'll be in contention for that. Because Caleb, we've been talking about Caleb for 2 years, and he's going to have to really, I mean, he's the front runner. Obviously, plus 120 is not anything I'm betting into. I guess if you want to tie up that kind of money for, 17 weeks to win plus 20, that's not for me. I would look at Jaden Daniels at plus 600. Again, same narrative as Drake May. Terrible team around him. He's a dual threat guy. He'll be running and passing for his life. If they win games, it'll be probably on his back. It'd be really hard for Marv or Malik to win this award.
Yeah.
Though, I mean, Malik at plus 1,500 is a little juicy, but there's so many variables that I just don't think it's possible for him to win. So I would look for Drake at plus 3,000 or Jaden. You can sprinkle a little bit on both, but that Drake plus 3,000, man, that is juicy. Yeah.
It is juicy. It's a quarterback award.
Yep.
Like you would love to say Marv or Malik has a real shot at it, but it's a quarterback award. It'll be one of the quarterbacks, whether it's a slam dunk that it's Caleb, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Bo Nix. Somebody's winning. A quarterback's winning this award with that many first round quarterbacks and that many that should see playing time. One of them is going to do it. I like a sprinkle on Drake May. Caleb feels just like almost feels like it's going to be hard for it not to be Caleb, but it's just not very fruitful.
At plus 120, it's like I wouldn't want to tie up that much bankroll for that long for plus 120. I'd rather sprinkle a little bit on some of these longer shots and hope for something.
I agree. All right, let's move on to offensive player of the year. We've got Tyreek Hill plus 800, Christian McCaffrey plus 900, CeeDee Lamb and Jamar Chase both at plus 1,000, Justin Jefferson at plus 1,200, and Breece Hall plus 1,800.
You know where I'm already going here, man.
Yeah.
I already placed my Breece Hall bet. I already moved this line, okay? It was plus 2,000 last week.
I already moved this line. You know what the thing is for me with Breece Hall, and it's not like a homer thing, but what makes Breece Hall attractive in this scenario is, to me, output-wise, like in terms of just statistics, rushing yards, receiving yards, total production, I don't expect Breece Hall to be far off or maybe even behind Christian McCaffrey.
Right.
Like, I think those will be the best running backs in football. I think Breece's usage is going to be absolutely through the roof, both as a runner and a receiver. But big difference, plus 900, plus 1,800. So I don't have a problem with somebody calling their shot and saying it's going to be Christian McCaffrey, but I'd rather roll the dice that it's going to be Breece Hall.
And again, I can't stress this enough. These are narrative awards. So a lot of these people have East Coast biases. And if the New York Jets are a good team and Breece Hall is one of the key factors to that team being good, he's going to get some votes for Offensive Player of the Year. CMC, it's CMC.
It's what he's supposed to do.
Right. So if I'm putting, which I have put my money on one of these bets, I'm putting my money on Breece Hall for that. Justin Jefferson could be interesting too, because again, if he does this with Sam Darnold, people are going to put some respect on his name.
And I think there is a shot that he does do it with Sam Darnold because, I mean, he showed us that he's quarterback proof, right? Like, the end of the season last year. I think it was the last game of the season when Nick Mullins was in there, and I think he caught a few touchdowns in that game, if I remember, and still went over 100 yards. Like he did Justin Jefferson things. So I think he's one of those elite few guys that is really like, you could put me out here with almost anybody.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter. All right. Defensive player of the year. This one is interesting.
We're a defensive podcast.
Yeah. Shout out defensive pod. Micah Parsons plus 500, Myles Garrett plus 600, TJ Watt plus 750, Max Crosby and Nick Bosa both plus 1,000, and Chris Jones, the long shot, at plus 2,500.
Yeah, I feel like this award.
Players.
Yeah, so the defensive player of the year is pretty much the sack leader award, or the sack leader on the best defense award, I should specify. Micah Parsons, he's due to win this award. I can't fault anyone who's betting, him or Miles at those prices if they're not enticing. For me, I like Chris Jones at plus 2,500 too. I don't think Max Crosby has a chance to win this bet just because the Raiders are going to be so bad that unless he breaks the sack record, he's not winning this award. Nick Bosa at plus 1,000. I like Nick Bosa too. I got to be honest with you.
That's the one I was going to say. Because I do think Nick Bosa remains firmly one of the best pass rushers in football. And
You just got to stay fully healthy and get those, 20 plus sacks, whatever, that threshold is going to be. But even though Chris Jones is not like a mega sack guy, the Chiefs are going to be probably, in my opinion, a top 10, top 5 defense.
Yeah.
They're going to have all the hype in the world. They're going to play all the big games when it matters. If Chris Jones is pushing his sack totals up double digits and the Chiefs are a top 3 defense, that 2,500 is going to look a lot smaller week 17. So that would be something I would sprinkle on. Yeah.
I don't hate that at all.
Yeah.
I don't hate it at all. One of the best defenders in football, and all it takes is it to be one of those years where the sack numbers do go his way. And then, like you said, by the end of the season, we're running away or looking at it thinking, man, that was crazy that it was ever plus 2,500.
Right.
All right, defensive rookies. We got another large group of pass rushers here. We got Laiatu Latu plus 400, Dallas Turner plus 450, Jared Verse plus 1,000, Byron Murphy plus 1,200, and the plus 3,500 long shot, Cooper DeJean. Love to see it.
Yeah, I threw Cooper in there. I don't think he has a chance of winning that unless the Phillies, the Eagles. For a defensive back to win this award, you have to do something insane.
He's got to get 10 picks.
Yeah.
It's got to be one of those crazy seasons.
Yeah, and the pass rushers got to be really lacking, which is why I added him in there because I don't think this was a weaker pass rush class, right? We could agree on that.
Yeah. Well, who's the one out of these guys that you like the most?
In terms of pure pass rusher or where they are on what team they are?
Pure pass rusher.
As a pure pass rusher, I think I have to go Latu as long as he's healthy.
Okay. I think that's fair.
I think I like Jared Verse at plus 1,000.
Yeah, that's
most
the
there.
guy, man.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
Byron Murphy could be an interesting one there as well at plus 1,200, but it's hard for those, defensive tackles to really generate that kind of.
Yeah, to get it over an edge guy, it would take all the edge guys falling pretty flat.
Terrion Arnold, I didn't add him here. He's plus 1,400. That could be interesting if the Lions are having a big year and he's getting those, if he gets some sacks and some interceptions. But I would go, I think at plus 1,000, I like Jared Verse. I think that defense is going to need him.
Yes.
So
I think that Jared Verse is the perfect blend of he should play. They will need him. I think his game translates to the NFL pretty well. Just a strength game, a power profile. I think he's a solid player that should get out there early and often. And he's got, and they could be playing he could be playing from an advantageous situation, right?
Right.
The Rams offense could still get out in front of some guys and put him in a good situation to get after the quarterback.
He's in LA. He's on a above average team, I'd say. They're gonna do some kind of crazy Aaron Donald talk where, is he filling the shoes that Aaron Donald left? So he's got, again, these are narrative awards, and he's got some of those narratives on his side at plus 1,000.
Yeah, it's fair. All right, last one we've got comeback player of the year. Joe Burrow, plus 200. Aaron Rodgers, plus 200. Kirk Cousins, plus 500. Anthony Richardson, plus 750. Then we got a couple long shots. Daniel Jones, plus 1,800. Sam Darnold, plus 2,000. This is a fun one.
Yeah, this is a fun one.
Because nobody knows what comeback player of the year means.
Yeah. Is it you're coming back from irrelevancy?
Yeah.
Is it you're coming back from injury?
Mm-hmm.
Is it, I think that's about it, but usually
you're coming back from Egypt.
Egypt.
Yeah, you're coming back from Egypt if you're Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Joe Burrow and Aaron Rodgers, those are, priced how they should be. I don't have any interest in those, really. I mean, one of those guys probably will win it. I don't know, though. Joe Burrow, I'm not interested in that. I don't think, because if he wins any of the other awards, like, any other kind of award, I don't think they're going to have any interest in voting him for comeback player of the year.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers might have, but everybody hates Aaron Rodgers. So it's like, they're probably like, he's won his MVPs. I'm not giving him another award.
I could absolutely see that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, these are losers who vote on these awards typically.
The guy that popped off the list for me is Anthony Richardson, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I think if he stays healthy for the whole year, he's going to put up some numbers.
Right.
And I think the Colts will be a really tough out if he can stay healthy and be out there. Yeah, I love him. He's an exciting young quarterback. We saw what he could do when he was out there in a limited sample size last year. And I think if he stays healthy this year, he'll be the talk of the town by the end of the season. People will really be hyping him up.
Yeah. And I think in terms of the two long shots, I'd probably like Sam Darnold a little more just because I think the Vikings are a better team than the Giants. For Daniel Jones to win that award, I would want a little bit. I was surprised it was only plus 1,800, and maybe you could find a better number somewhere else. But, it's not unrealistic that Daniel Jones could have a decent year. The Giants could win. They'd have to win like 9, 10 games. They'd have to have a winning record, I think, in my opinion, for him to win this award. They did it 2 years ago, so it's not impossible. But Sam Darnold at plus 2,000 is a little interesting, especially because JJ is not coming back. So
yeah,
if the Vikings are anything, if they do anything, and Sam has a decent year, former number 3 overall pick.
Yeah,
everybody loves a good story for the comeback player of the year.
Definitely. Just make sure if Daniel Jones wins comeback player of the year that you limber up, like stretch before the victory lap for all the Dimes haters out there. Put them on.
There are many.
There. We have the receipts.
I'm keeping tab.
All right. That's all the big awards.
That's it.
We got to them all. I think we gave some pretty good takes on them. Any last thoughts that you want to throw in here before we give our usual wrap up and final thoughts?
Yeah, I got one more that I want to give the people because I am a man of the people.
That's what they say.
I'm looking at most regular season passing yards, and I teased this in our draft episode last week. Well, this week. Joe Burrow is just looking at me, plus 1,100.
Oh.
Plus 1,100. I just think Joe Burrow is going to go off this year. If he stays healthy, I think he's going to lead the league in passing. So put that in the books.
Plus 1,100. Who's the favorite? Mahomes?
CJ Stroud at plus 650.
What?
Yeah.
People got to clue me into where they think all the extra productivity is coming from.
I was going to say, I heard that from you on your other pod that, it's just like there's not much more room to go up in terms of passing production. Like they could win more games.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just don't see where all the extra attempts are coming from to make this such a bigger year than he just had. And he had a great rookie year, but I'm not expecting. I think people should be tempering expectations from like a huge statistical leap in year 2.
I agree. It's CJ Stroud, Mahomes, Dak, Goff, then Burrow in terms of, odds.
Yeah, Burrow is far down on that list.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Go ahead and make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you haven't already. Leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you thought about or who you like to bet for any of these awards that we talked about. And we will be back on the YouTube channel with some more team previews rolling out over the next week or so.
Keep the drive alive. Don't forget to like and subscribe.